Hello, how are you? Are you having a good winter?
Yes, I'm having a good winter. Winter has just begun after all.
Time really flies. Today's interview will focus on philosophy and wisdom.
Yes, that is
Thursdays, people
correct.
mostly talk about politics and similar topics, but we would like to discuss philosophy, cognition, enlightenment, and meditation instead. The reason we wanted to speak with you is that after watching your content, we learned that you founded the Essence of Light Center and have been actively creating a wide range of video series on YouTube related to
Yes, that
awareness,
is correct.
meditation, and enlightenment. Why have you recently been producing such a high volume of enlightenment focused content? Let's start from there.
That's fine. You've understood our content very accurately.
You've done some very interesting work. It really caught my attention.
You're absolutely right. The ultimate goal of all our content is enlightenment. What is enlightenment? Who needs to become enlightened? Why is enlightenment necessary? What benefits does enlightenment bring? When a person becomes enlightened, what changes and benefits occur within the physical body? When a person becomes enlightened, it doesn't just benefit the physical body, it also positively affects the family and society as a whole. That is the direction of our discussion.
So, the purpose of all your content is enlightenment, right? The final conclusion seems to be
Yes,
that
that is
human
correct.
beings must become enlightened. Then, what exactly is enlightenment? What does it truly mean to become enlightened? Could you explain this to us clearly and beautifully?
You've just asked a very direct question. What is enlightenment? In essence, enlightenment means removing the suffering that exists within oneself. Humanity has now reached approximately 8.5 billion people, yet people remain trapped in suffering. Why does this suffering arise? It comes from desire, attachment, and from one's own actions, one's karma. Our actions continuously generate suffering. As the saying goes, you reap what you sow. What we plant through our thoughts, words, and deeds is exactly what we later harvest. Unfortunately, people often sow suffering and thus harvest suffering.
So, that becomes their fate, their karma, right?
Yes, that is karma. People plant karma, live through it, spend one lifetime, roughly 60 years, and then die. Enlightenment means reaching a state where one no longer experiences suffering and instead lives in inner peace and happiness.
You mentioned that people accumulate suffering through their own actions. Does suffering arise directly from karma?
Yes, suffering itself is karma. Now, how does a person create karma? This is very important. Karma is created in three main ways: through physical actions of the body, through speech, sound, and words, through the mind, thoughts, emotions, and inner energy. First, karma is created through physical actions. For example, if you damage the land or destroy nature, karma is immediately being created. On the other hand, planting trees and doing good deeds also creates positive karma. Negative physical actions include substance abuse, alcohol addiction, domestic violence, and harming others. These are all actions performed through the physical body. Second, karma is created through speech. Harsh words, insults, verbal abuse, and constant negativity, especially on social media, are all forms of negative karma. People curse one another, demean each other, and compete to dominate. If we observe society historically, for example, how many people were born in 1950 and how many remain today, or how many were born in 1975 and how many are still alive, we can see how karma unfolds across generations.
What about actions done for a so called greater good? For example, can one commit harmful actions in order to save a country? Can punishment, accusation, or force be justified if the ultimate goal is pure? Would that still be considered sinful or negative karma?
That is a very profound and necessary question. From the perspective of the nation, such actions may be seen as beneficial. However, for the individual performing those actions, karma still exists. Even if the outcome benefits society, the personal karmic consequence remains. For example, if we look at history and take Hitler as an example on a large scale, abstract level, some might argue that a cleansing occurred. From one angle, He could be seen as a force of destruction meant to reset a system. But personally, the karmic burden he carried was immense. Such figures often arise as part of a larger process. They are, in a sense, assigned roles. Some individuals are born with a predetermined function to disrupt, to cleanse, or to end an era. A king, too, can be a cleanser. These roles emerge naturally when imbalance becomes extreme. However, this does not justify violence as morally pure. It simply explains how such roles arise within karmic law.
What kind of person is considered enlightened? Is enlightenment truly possible for humanity?
Yes, humanity is capable of enlightenment. Humans currently live in what can be described as a dark world, a world of suffering. Yet, alongside this world, guidance has been provided. Humanity was not sent here without tools. We were given methods, paths that allow us to endure without being consumed by suffering. This world itself is suffering, but within it we were given instructions. If you follow this path, you will not be overwhelmed by suffering. You will return transformed. If we fail to apply these methods, we remain trapped in suffering, living out one lifetime bound by the five elements and then dying. This is the natural law of evolution. An enlightened person is someone who, over a long period of disciplined practice, much like physical training, works continuously on themselves. Just as a person builds muscle through years of fitness training, enlightenment requires sustained inner work. Over decades, suffering accumulates within the body. Enlightenment involves systematically removing that suffering. As suffering dissolves, one reaches a state where suffering is no longer experienced. This is what it means to fill the body with light. What people call God is, in essence, light itself, pure, formless light. True enlightenment is not about worshiping an external deity, but about transforming the physical body into light. In Buddhist philosophy, this is described as creating the Buddha within oneself, becoming a living Buddha. The Buddha himself said, "You are all small Buddhas. Awaken the Buddha within you." He never said, "Worship me." Every human has the potential to become a Buddha. The small Buddha within you is your inner energy, your soul. To awaken it is the true meaning of enlightenment.